What do you see here as the off-ramp for Republicans? You talked to them. Mitch McConnell came out today. Very strong statement, right? But as I noted as we began the show, Mitch McConnell gave a very strong statement on January 6th, too, but then did the backstroke as fast as he could off of impeachment, right?
Right.
This is going to play out the exact same way, I think, on this. How do you see it?
Well, I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Convince me, sir.
Well, what you saw today, where the Republicans were unable to even get a vote, was that they declined the invitation by President Trump for them to commit political suicide. And that's essentially what it was, because he wanted them to vote on the ballroom. He wanted them to validate the $1.8 billion slush fund. And, of course, that's in the backdrop on the heels of what David and I have been focusing on, and that is the pay-for-play pardon issuance, where you pay a lot of money, you make a big contribution, you get a pardon. And that is a staggering lineup of corruption for folks to get behind. And I think the ballroom and the slush fund are very visible and very visceral for everyday people. So you're seeing a lot of Republicans push back, and they resisted even taking up a vote on continuing on the appropriations bill.
Congressman Mihm, I mean, the scale of the corruption here, as it pertains to these groups that are racist, that engage in insurrectionist activities, specifically the leader of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, who says he wants a piece of this $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, saying, quote, in a phone interview with the New Times on Wednesday morning, longtime Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio said that while he hasn't taken any concrete steps yet, he will definitely seek compensation from the money pop, which he described as another promise made, another promise kept by Trump. When you hear something like that, somebody who is sentenced to jail for 22 years by a jury of his peers, who got let out by Donald Trump in the January 6th pardoning, do you feel the public sees the level of corruption here? That someone who had gone to jail for 22 years, was supposed to go to jail for 22 years for insurrection against the United States, is now going to request millions from this fund?
No, it's so horrible. And I was someone who has spent my career fighting for the rule of law. I actually turned down Wall Street to go to the SEC to prosecute corporate fraud to start my career. I was a law professor at UC Irvine in my district before coming into Congress. And the level of corruption is just so outrageous right now. And I just want to point something out here. These January 6th insurrectionists, a lot of them had previous criminal records. A lot of them were guilty of violent crimes before. And a lot of them, since being released by Donald Trump, have gone on to commit additional crimes, including child pornography, child sexual assault, rape, assault. These are not good people. And there are people right now who have gone and done the worst things after being pardoned by Donald Trump, who are now set to receive millions of payments, $1 billion in payments. And that's just wrong. And that's one of the reasons that Senator Welch and I decided that we needed to go after this pardon power. One thing we're considering doing is talking about doing an op-ed around the pardon power, because it really hasn't been researched enough. But in the context of this settlement, this outrageous settlement, I just want to note something. I taught contracts law at UC Irvine. A settlement is a type of contract. And you can't have a contract when you don't actually have two parties. And that was something the judge was pointing out. This is not a real contract. It is an executive order issued by the DOJ. I believe it has no force of law. What they're doing right now is stealing $1.8 billion from something called the Judgment Fund at the Department of Justice. It's meant to settle actual litigation where the government owes money, maybe to settle where there's a real case. This doesn't qualify for any of that. What this is doing right now is just giving money as a policy decision to people who did very bad things. Now, if Donald Trump wants to make the case that we should be giving $1.8 billion out to the Proud Boys and J6 insurrectionists, he can make that case to Congress. But we are the ones who have the power of the purse, and he is right now violating the law just as he's done every single day in this administration. And there have to be consequences. We have to rein in that pardon power, among other things.